Hey, it's Dan here, and I've got a small little live audience, and I'll be doing some educating, and I wanted to take this opportunity to make some videos as well. So I know that some great stuff is going to come through today, and we're all going to be inspired and uplifted, and we're going to be imbued with some new knowledge, or maybe just a reminder of what you already know. So I've got a great recipe here for you today using the Paradigm Cleanse. But before I get started, we're going to be talking about the lifestyle here, what you can do, or a lifestyle or a general context that you can use to build immunity, detoxify your body, and strengthen your mind by cleansing your gut. Science is really showing us today that the gut-brain axis is for real. For years and years we've been studying the brain and how it affects the gut. But what we're seeing is that a massive majority of the energy and information and the communication is actually from the gut to the brain. Isn't that interesting? And you'll see it in yourself. In my own personal experience, had a lot of time off for the last 6 months to really look, to break through from the past and move into a fresh new vision, doing a lot of research and development on my own self, because this is the #1 experiment right here. And so some of the things I've discovered I know are going to be very beneficial. It's a combination of the breakthrough science as well as my own intuition, just really praying and opening up to new information that is to help me specifically, to be honest with you. I really do this for myself because I've been through quite a few things in this life, and I have this inner drive, this inner fire to burn all the dross off of the golden heart, off of the golden mind, and I see that the power of life is coming from my gut. And the programming of my mind can be somewhat of a darkness that comes from the past of humanity's ignorance. And some of the programs that we've all been, programmed with from a very young age, whether that's social or family programmings and religious, etc. And now we're building that light, that true light, to bring that up and to bring that fire to purify the heart and to purify the mind. And so my newest and latest and happiest discoveries are really related to the gut. Although it all started for me a long time ago with the colon. I was just absolutely obsessed with the colon and endocrinology, and I would go to bed every night reading these huge anatomy books and just going, wow, look at the human body. And we think, oh, we have it all figured out, and then all new sciences come out relating to biofilms and the microbiome and this whole new universe that we were not even aware of before. And yet, in referencing the masters of old, we find out that they already had a handle on some of these things that are holding people back. Darkness, demons, pathogens. And we've got a lot of that going on, and it's affecting the mind. I read a research paper yesterday about a woman who was working with psychiatric patients and prescribing all the psychotropic drugs, and what you had there was just, she said she never got any results in 14 years. And then when she started prescribing probiotics, which build the beneficial bacteria and help to feed and help the beneficial bacteria, then a lot of the pathogenic type bacteria are mitigated, which are releasing waste products, which are making the brain all fuzzy and crazy, and it's very hard to get your mind clear. So we're finding out for sure, and this has been my personal experience, that the gut is definitely related to mental clarity. And I've been on the island of Kauai here, and what really matters to me right now is mental clarity. And I think that people that meet me are like, you're pretty clear, bro. But it's like there's another level of fire, another level of conductivity, another level of awakening. And you can see through your experiences, if you pay attention, one day you eat this thing and you kind of like know you're not supposed to, but you do. And if you're really aware, your next morning's meditation is just like, your nervous system's not right. There's fumes coming from the indigestion, from the bad food combinations, as well as all the different, it's sort of a war in a sense going on inside your gut. With the sugars and the genetically modified foods and the vaccines and the antibiotics and the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which are really, mitigating the biodiversity of the microbiome in the gut. So these monkeys have a huge diversity, and these other African cultures have way more diversity, and you can find that out from like fecal samples and things like that. And then you get what I call the white man, and they just don't have the same diversity of the beneficial microbes that come from nature due to cesarean section and antibiotics and vaccination while mothers are pregnant and the processed foods. And I'm glad you guys get this because it brings up the fire. And a lot of people don't, but I just have to do my job because it's very important. My mission is to save humanity through nutrition, through an understanding of simple things, just simple, but barefoot, eating dirty foods with the flustering of all the microorganisms within your environment. You want those in your gut, and then you want the prebiotics from the fiber of raw fruits and vegetables. That's why I think, and I'm pretty sure science is going to prove this in about 20 or 30 years, but cooked foods and animal products do, in my opinion, at this time, this is a vision, feed more of the pathogenic type bacteria, which can have a stimulating effect. And I'm not against anything, but I'm just pro what is it that's going to put the fire in our minds, because as a personal vision, I'd like to see people and my own self rise up in what I call Christ consciousness or awareness, awakening. Waking up is difficult. I'm looking at the camera. Waking up is difficult. I know I'm going through the process right now of seeing myself as my own worst enemy, or what I think as myself, which is the conditioning, which is the self-critical judge, which has a lot to do with the way that I eat. When I eat what I know works, the juices, the smoothies, the simple salads, the fruits, the vegetables, simple, really simple foods in easy combinations, spread apart and in moderation, not stuffing myself, which leads to, you lose that digestive factor, the stomach is overworked, the enzymes just get overworked, and you have that fumigation, and that's what leads to the more proliferation of pathogenic type microbes. And what you're doing and what we're doing here, and what I've found out over the last several months, is my friend Lou Corona, who designed these products, he's a smart man. He's very intuitive. And I see his genius now and why he uses the probiotics and the enzymes and the cleanse here so that your gut. So that's the direction I'm going now. Your gut is your spiritual clarity. Your gut is your happiness or depression. So I'm glad that I've gone down the road with what has been termed orthorexia or whatever, because I'm aware of what's going on. Because I'm aware of the biofilms, I'm aware of the protein plaques, I'm aware of the microcapillary occlusion in the brain. You need your circulation, you need good digestion, and you need, I'm going to get started here on this video real quick, you need water, pure water. Everyone's dehydrated that I know. Everyone I know is dehydrated, myself included. Come on, Dan, remember to drink more water. Okay, so I think that's a great introduction. Let's get started right into it. I was thinking maybe I would just stop right there, but let's just go right into the cleanse here. First of all, I want to mention here, because this is for all my clients that I've been talking to, doing phone consults, and all of my friends here on the island that want to learn more. They're buying me out. I can't keep this stuff on the shelves at my house, and now I'm down to my very last bag of protein, which I don't want to get down to, and they're benefiting from it, but they want to know even more. They want to know the details, and I'm going to get into all this amazing stuff today. And it's not just these products, don't get me wrong. You can't just, well, they will help you, but I want to encourage you to adopt the entire lifestyle. It's the self-care, life regeneration, regenerate your spirit, regenerate your body, regenerate your mind, regenerate your heart, and save humanity. Because otherwise, if we keep going and we don't wake up and we don't look at the powers that be that are running the corporations that are injecting us with all the chemicals. I mean, I could make one video, I could say one word about what's causing us to be ill, and that is chemicals. Better living through chemistry? I don't think so. The chemistry that I believe in is God's chemistry and nature's chemistry. And of course, those are one, but they work in unison. Nature is that which we can see, the beautiful trees and the ocean and the fruit trees everywhere and the coconuts. We can see nature. We can't necessarily see God with these eyes, but with this eye we can. And when we understand nature's ways, we have a distinct advantage. And I want to encourage people to go back. So we're using the best of both worlds. We're turning the Wi-Fi off when we can. We're standing in this world of technology so we can communicate, because they hate the internet because we're able to communicate. And those who can pick this up and are picking up on this are going to be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this dude. I'm going to watch these videos. This dude's onto something. I'm stoked because he is doing it and he's helping a lot of people and getting a lot of downloads. Nature and technology. I'm leaning more towards just more nature, more barefoot, more dirty foods grown in probiotic soil, more time at the beach, more sleep, more rest. And I can go on and on and on, and I won't, just so that I can, in the interest of making these clips today here, teaching everyone how to use this stuff. I just had an amazing consultation with a gentleman this morning, and he's got a viral infection that he just can't get rid of, which is it's a type of viral infection. Well, it's HPV, anyways, and it's I won't mention his name or anything, but it's sexually transmitted disease, and most people can get rid of it within the first year or two. But there's a lot of things that we had to go over because he wasn't really focused on building his immunity. He wasn't really focused on building his immune system up through the gut. The immune system is in the gut, and through the months and the years here, I'm going to be talking about all the different things, the sinister things that are consciously being done to us that is destroying our microbiome, which destroys our brains, which destroys our bodies, and takes away our lives and takes away our potential. And I believe that is part of the intention of the conspiracy theory population control. It's not a theory anymore, folks. It's for real. They've been working on this for a long time. Of course, we know that as you push down, the life builds up. So really, it's not a bad thing about what's going on. We have to get smarter. We have to learn how to take care of our bodies, because if we don't, we crumble very rapidly in a society that has allowed these types of things to happen. Now we're working on that enlightenment of society so that we never have to go about any of this anyways, because you never hear any of the health industries, the CDC, the FDA, no one's promoting health. Your doctor doesn't promote health. The pharmaceutical companies don't promote health. They're all fighting disease. Well, what are you going to have? You're always going to have this for the rest of your life. But when you start cultivating health from the light that's inside of you, that's going to burn up everything. And when the people that I'm going to listen to are the ones that are saying, don't worry about fighting disease. Don't worry about fighting cancer or curing cancer. Just get healthy. Isn't that amazing? And that's what it is. How do we do that? We start off in the morning, every morning. This is what I drink every morning. First thing I do. I got to get up and pee, right? But not before when I get up to pee for the first time, I drink at least half of this, and then I get a super flush, because you want to flush out what was your liver and your kidneys from the night before. That's why you're trying to just have your last meal around like 6. So you can go to bed at 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Get to bed early. That's the way to build the immunity. When you go to bed on a more emptier stomach, then the kidneys and the liver and all the detoxification organs and the digestion can really take place, and then you wake up fresh. But if you go to bed at 10 o'clock with a belly full of dead food, what I call it, which isn't the fruits and the vegetables, a nice salad at night is amazing, or some vegetables, or even fruit. Sometimes I'll just have like a couple papayas for dinner, But as early as I can get done with that last meal, the better. The better I wake up in the morning, and I'm clear, and I'm bright, and I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning to meditate, and it was amazing, and I could see the light in my gut as I've been caring for my gut more and more, burning up the debris in my mind that came from generations. I'm not blaming anyone, but I'm not falling for it. I'm going straight back to the light of what's real, and I'm cultivating the light, and I'm getting healthier because it matters to me a lot. When you're skinny, it's like, well, that's not what it is. It's like you're skinny and you're awake and you're conducting electricity, you're conducting God force, you're lifting those up around you without saying a word by walking into the room. Okay, I can go on and on forever, but we're going to get to the practical stuff. But that's just a small little segue into some practical stuff that you can use today. So now you're inspired. Drink your water. Everyone's dehydrated. For a man my size, 3 of these a day. You know, of 120, you can get away with a couple of these. If you're on the fruit and vegetable lifestyle, if you're eating more cooked foods that has the water cooked out and you're eating a lot of salt, I avoid salt for the most part. Every once in a while, if I'm chilling with somebody, I'll have a little salt, then I need more water to kind of flush that through. But I drink at least 2 of these. My goal is to get it to 3 a day, and that's kind of a mathematical equation. But I drink a lot of coconut water. I drink a lot of juices, but it's not the same. Nothing is the same as pure water in glass or whatever you got to do to get pure water. Do not drink the fluoridated water. You just cannot do that. The fluoridated water does not help your teeth. That's a load of hogwash. It solidifies your pineal gland. It solidifies your joints. It ossifies your tissues and puts you to sleep. And then you'll be right where they want you, believing in everything they say. No more sheeple. Wake up. It's time. DTM on fire. Drink the water. Oh, this is my favorite water. It's Shasta water, Castle Rock, and it says, we are grateful for God's blessings. That calibrates the water. If you've got a glass water bottle and whatever water you've got, joy. Write it on the bottle. Inspiration, confidence, whatever it is you want to calibrate your body with, and you keep flushing your body with that consciousness crystals. When I drink this water, I've noticed that I'm so much grateful. That's kind of the theme of my life. It's like, wow, the crap's really hitting the fan. I'm grateful. I don't know where I'm going to be next. I'm grateful. I'm doing well financially. I'm grateful. I'm not doing so well financially. I'm grateful, 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 grateful for everything. So that's what I've been, since I've been on this island, calibrating myself with is gratitude. And so remember that. Drink plenty of water. That's the number one thing. You've got to keep flushing out all the things that we're doing in our society. Not just the regular metabolic residues, but then most of the food that is being consumed is not really conducive to human health. Again, all this research has led me back to the same thing I've been saying for 15 years, fruits and vegetables. Those are the foods for mankind, fruits and vegetables. Now today I've got some amazing fruits. Thank you for that, taking your time to be with me today. I'm very happy that you're here. I've got some mandarins here. Now these are ugly. And my philosophy is that the uglier a fruit is on the outside, the better it tastes inside. It's not always true, but a lot of times it is. People at the grocery store, they want that perfect little tomato. Well, guess what? It tastes like a piece of cardboard. No thanks, you know what I'm saying? Or these perfect little apples. Well, how's the nutritional quality of those apples? I want the ugly, beat up ones with the, you know, like that song, I don't mind the birds and the bees, that's keep your glyphosate off my whatever. That's from the... from the certain band. What band is that? Anyways, leave me the birds and the bees, please. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. So I'm trying to save humanity because I'm seeing, whoa, we're on a bad trajectory here. So anyways, this is the ultimate Tangelos. Look at that. See, that is the golden elixir of life. And you're going to get some great stuff. For those of you who sat through that little dissertation, you're going to learn today what the real juice is really all about. Okay? And that is hand squeezed citrus. Now you see, the thing is with the fruit, the fruit can cause problems with your teeth unless you're eating seeded fruit and unless you're getting some of the essential oils that are on the outside of the fruit. Animals in nature were probably using their teeth to get inside certain fruits, so they would have that essential oils, which are antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. It's the bacteria on your teeth that actually end up corroding through by the waste matter. The waste that they release is very acidic, and that builds cavities in your teeth. Fruit is mankind's food. but he needs to have the seeded, less hybridized as possible. Look at all the seeds in this one. So you're chewing on the seeds, you're getting those antibacterial, antiseptic type properties on your teeth, and then those bacteria don't have a chance to proliferate. But all the cooked foods and the cooked grains and the cooked everything is allowing those pathogens to proliferate, more so in your mouth. There's a mouth microbiome, there's a gut microbiome, respiratory microbiome. It's a microbiome that's in complete and total. They live in your skin. So we're more virus and bacteria than we are tissue and flesh, 10 times more. So what is it that's eating? The bacteria inside of us. And if you got the wrong kind, you're going to have skin problems, brain fog, autoimmune diseases, stiff joints, and you're not going to be thinking right. You might have evil, aggression, agitation, irritation. This is making sense. So we're cleaning our guts out. And I'm glad I spent the last 15 years being crazy about eating clean. And now I'm really understanding how to eat clean, and I'm seeing the benefits in a major way. But if I mess up, which I do occasionally, because I'm just as human as everybody else, then I notice it the next day, and I have the kind of I'm swampy, and I'm not zink. But the more you want to get awake and clear is the more you say, I'm not going to go out to dinner tonight with you guys and meet you at the restaurant, because restaurant food sucks, no offense. But just eat at home. Eat real food at home. And that way you'll protect yourself with organic, fresh food. You know what's going on. So get to bed early on, without stuffing yourself. Try to eat earlier in the day your larger meals. And just, and then we'll talk about what we can do here as a lifestyle. There's so much information to share. You can see I'm talking a mile a minute, and it's like we've gone over not even one small percentage of what I hope to share over the years ahead to keep finessing this so people can get it, because I'm so excited and I'm so blessed. I am so blessed to have gone down this road, to have listened to my inner parts when the world said, "You're crazy." My whole family, of course, now they all own juicers and they're eating way more raw foods. And we've saved some vital organs from getting cut out. I'm like, bro, do not get your gallbladder cut out. Check this out, dude. Get a juicer, slam juice every day. Apple juice, lemon juice. Clean your gallbladder. Quit eating cheeseburgers. Save your gallbladder, save your colon, save your heart, save your blood vessels. Save yourself by the hydration and the fruit acids and the vegetable chlorophyll, and keep your system balanced and clean in a nature way. And learn discipline, because this is what God gave you a frontal lobe for as a human being. So you could use it. And here's the thing. Are you going to be the master, or are the microbes living in your gut going to be your master? I am the master of this house. Amen. I use my frontal lobe to say, okay, I know you guys want your little white sugar, or you want to eat too much fat, or you want to overeat, because that's what helps to keep you alive. But I'm going to be taking the essential oils, and I'm going to be eating the raw foods, and I'm going to be doing the water fasting and the juice fasting, and I am going to clean my gut out, which is a great segue into the cleanse. That's why this is designed. Why? Because these are herbs that I know that are probably not growing outside your house. If they were, I would recommend you go do that. Inside this formula, which is genius, I use it on all my people: hibiscus, psyllium, peppermint leaf, licorice roots, cascara sagrada, ginseng, and corn silk. Some prebiotics in there, some mucilaginous properties to clean the GI tract wall, to start sealing up. The leaky gut is rampant. And constipation, rampant. Candida, yeast, fungus, all living within us. Damp conditions, anaerobic type conditions. We want to get that oxygen in there, because then we get those more beneficial microorganisms. They get to have a party. They start calling out and craving for real food. So it took me, 20 minutes to get around, but this is the ultimate way to make I usually do it in the sink. So I take a bowl and I just cut the citrus juices, and I do it by hand. you know, you can't really see, but I just squeeze it. And what that does is that I squeeze it, and that gets the essential oils on the outside of the peel, as well as the beneficial microorganisms that are growing on these organic farms. And so I get to, not only do I get the liquid life force, the liquid sunlight, you know, fiber is amazing and it's important, but the juicing comes in handy as well as a saturation technique for people that are just deficient. Because what happens is when you drink or when you juice the green herbs, it's just instant absorption. That way you can start making up for people that have been deficient for years because they're eating the wrong kinds of foods and they're cooking those foods, and then the microorganisms that are producing their metabolites, neutrals, and then pathogenic. And this is the DTM style, which I've never even seen any science on this or anything, but I'm saying that it's very beneficial to nurture and nourish the microorganisms living in you that produce the metabolites that give you life, clarity, and health and fire. And that is, you know, those are the prebiotics and the fruits and vegetables, and we're going to find that's another reason why I've been saying raw fruits and vegetables, and now I just have another nail in the coffin of biological life on this planet. Every one of them. The human beings are the only one. Fire, it made our brain grow. I don't think so, because if it did, human beings would not literally be destroying the planet that they live on. Because when you start getting alive with the raw foods, hell, that's the thing is, that's why I've been hiding for 6 months. I just have, there's nothing I want. I just want to be with that fire in my belly and in my mind and in my heart. And there's just any, it's like, well, what are you going to do? It's like, it's kind of a spiritual laziness. It's like you stop chasing after things because none of it's going to fill you up. You start going inward, and that's when the cup starts overflowing. Then you're like, well, I could go out into the world and quench the thirst for the knowledge for my brothers and sisters because they need to know this. And so, you know, it's an interesting thing, that little bit there. So now what I've got to do is, I'm just doing a real quick batch, but see, all these essential oils, and you can do really, really well, squeeze it super tight. And so now I just strain it with a coarse strainer because I want some of the fiber. And this is just a real quick recipe here. This is my little breakfast. And then I take I'm going to put this into the jar here. It doesn't take much. This is pretty much, I have somebody who was diagnosed with cancer staying with me now as a client. And this is pretty much how much she does every day. She uses the cleanse here, and then actually some of the herbs as well. She uses the purity from the pharmacy, mixes this with the purity, and with that, it's like she's been just cleansing out. We're getting her lymphatic system moving, and she's really brightening up. Because all the other people that she's met here that have gone through chemo, they're losing their hair, they feel terrible, and she's brightening up. Her eyes are getting clearer. She's just getting more awake. She's smiling. She's processing old emotions, and I'm counseling her on relationships and stuff. And so it's like people are changing. Now, most everyone should just take 1 teaspoon. That's the directions. I recommend 2 teaspoons for most people, but I like to take like a whole tablespoon myself because I don't really like to play. You know, in fact, I chew on this stuff. It's really interesting, and it just coats everything with this. With the licorice is a little bit bitter, and the Cascara Sagrada's got that mucilaginous, and it's also slightly, you know, anticoagulant. So you get the little bit of movement in there, but not too much. And the psyllium and the hibiscus are more of the prebiotics. Again, it's just all about those beneficial fibers: jicama, burdock root, beets, things like that, even the fruit fiber. So that it goes into the colon, and then that's where the real activity is going on, and that's where B vitamins, K vitamins, all kinds of fatty acids are produced, as well as hormones and steroids. So this is a huge breakthrough in understanding health. That is, you're not feeding your cells, you're feeding the microorganisms that are living in you, and then they're feeding your cells. So it's a symbiotic relationship which needs to be respected. But if those worms and parasites get out of hand, they take over, then you end up with, I can't stop eating sugar. You'll see it all over. People are just addicted to sugar. They get addicted to excessive amounts of animal products. They get addicted to ice cream. all different types of things calling out for these cravings. And then when you get yourself cleaned up, you're like, you have a choice. You can consciously begin to choose these high vibrational foods to lift yourself to another level, but then you got to ride the ride as you get cleansed out. If I feel like you're going a little crazy sometimes, because it's just the energy is so up, cleansing you out, and like you're purifying all of society through your fasting and prayer. You know, it's kind of crazy. But then you're like, okay, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I'm for the big G upstairs, the big man, the guy with the white beard in the sky, who's right in your heart. You know what I'm saying? You guys want to try this? Epic. Epic. So I'm going to call that good. How was that for an introduction?
Amazing.
Thank you. I'm stoked. Let's get on to the next recipe here. These are for Steven here, so he can reference these videos later for the recipes and stuff, and you can show your wife that we get plenty of protein. Because I do believe more in the protein now than I ever have, since I've just been eating this stuff, and it's just so balancing. So thank you very much. If you want to hit the little red button, get ready for another video coming right quick.